Good morning. Welcome to day 8 of Vlogmas. I'm glad you could join me today. I am sitting with my coffee. I feel a very well earned cup of coffee this morning. I've been busy. I have been doing very mundane things. I had to clean out my fridge and get it sorted because today's grocery shopping day, but I decided yesterday that I would let the groceries come to me this time, so I placed an order and they will be here soon and they will all have to be packed away. So I thought, get the fridge prepared for that. So I was doing that this morning. I had intended to sit down to have coffee earlier, but when I went to use my machine, it wasn't working. I had cleaned it yesterday, but obviously hadn't gone through the process properly at the end of the cleaning and ended up having to phone Nespresso, and they were very helpful, but I was on for nearly 30 to 40 minutes because they actually walk you through the cleaning process and you do the clean again of your machine. So I did that, but now it means I have a really, really nice cup of coffee in my lovely little gingerbread mug by Natasha Swan Ceramics. It was the mug I received the other day and it has been getting a lot of use. I love it. It's just a nice size. But anyway, after all that, I thought I would take a few minutes and watch a few vlogs. I was watching Sandy from By the Lakeside. Sandy's is the vlog when it starts on the 1st of December that I know it's Christmas. It's just, I mean, I love all the vlogs that I watch, but Sandy's just has that, it's the start of Christmas signal to me, and I watch her. She's also a dangerous vlog or podcast to watch because she enables me greatly, and I probably would be a much richer woman if it weren't for Sandy and her recommendations. Thank you, Sandy. Anyway, I'm sitting knitting my sock and having my coffee, and then I'll get back to my day. I have a few errands to run. James has been clearing out his room, and we've been to the charity shop a few times. We've been to the dump and with other things. He was a great when he was a little boy, he would have kept all the packaging from his toys. He was into pop figures and Hero Factory, and Ben 10 was the big thing in this house when he was a little boy. But with all the packaging, so we were getting rid of things like that, and yeah, just a good general clear out, which has cleared up his head and is clearing up mine, knowing that's done. But we've another run to make today, and we'll do that this afternoon. I'm sure we'll grab a coffee when we're out. And yeah, the rest of the day, Thursday's usually a really nice day for me. During, or at the very beginning of lockdown, all those years ago, because we were all in the house all the time and I was cooking all the time, Thursday was still my shopping day, but I refused because I had to go out and do the shopping during that. I felt my treat on a Thursday was not to have to cook. And I would have just brought in pizza from the supermarket and everybody else got it ready. Lockdown's now over, but that is a tradition that I have kept. So Thursday's my non-cookie day, which I love. I don't have to think about what's for dinner. I know what's coming, and I generally don't have to prepare it, which I like to. So yeah, Thursday, once we get in later, it'll be a nice quiet day. All the errands will have been done, all the chores will have been done, and I have no cooking to do. take a few minutes and tell you about some of the books that I've been reading lately and that I read this season. I love reading. I'm a voracious reader. There are books stacked by my bed, on the bedside table, on the floor. There are books everywhere. And I like all genres. I like thriller and mystery. I'm a huge Louise Penny fan. I love the Inspector Gamache books, and I know there's a new one out, but I'm waiting until it comes out in paperback before I get it. I love fantasy. I like romance. I especially love books that are set in Ireland. And I love old Irish literature, would be one of my passions. But at Christmas time and in the run up to Christmas, I don't want anything deep and heavy, usually. I want nice, light, for want of a better word, fluffy books that just are easy to read, are quite mindless, get caught in the story, and that are really quick reads. And I usually pull out, I keep all my books. I find it very hard letting go of books. I do purges every so often, but I do find books very hard to let go of. But I keep my Christmas books because I pull them out every year and I really enjoy just getting back into them. I don't mind rereading books. I sometimes pick up a new Christmassy story when I'm in a supermarket, but this time I haven't really. I've pulled out my old books, and I'm going to show you some of them just in case you're interested in a nice, light, easy read in the run up to Christmas. Katie Ford would be one of my favourite authors, actually. I quite like Katie Ford for a light read. They're all romance. I'm actually reading this one at the minute again. It's set in the Highlands of Scotland at Christmas. These are all Christmas based stories. So there's Katie Ford, Highland Fling is worth a read. If you like knitting based fiction, you'll know of Debbie McComber, her Chop and Blossom Street books, which have been a number of years since I've read them, but she has some Christmas books out too. A Merry Little Christmas. I actually haven't read this one in a long time, so I'll maybe read it next. I have a couple of her Christmassy books. This is knitting based. It's the Great Christmas Knit Off, almost like the Great British Bake Off, or this is the Great Canadian Baking Show, they call it. I don't know what they call it in other countries, but the Great British Bake Off. So this is the Great Christmas Knit Off, which was a fun read. Heartbroken after being jilted. Sybil has been saved from despair by her knitting obsession. How many moments of despair in our lives, romantic or not, are saved by knitting? So that was a fun read. This is one of my very favourite Christmas stories, The Magic of Christmas by Tricia Ashley. It's just another fun read. So books like that are really, really good. They're just quick, easy reads, and I enjoy them. You might get something there and it might send you off looking for other ones. I do read A Christmas Carol every year. I haven't actually started it this year. Normally I would read a wee bit every night during Advent, but this time I haven't. I'll have to get into that. I do enjoy A Christmas Carol. I read it in the run up to Christmas, and then we watch the very, very highbrow version of A Christmas Carol on Christmas Eve that features the Muppets. The Muppets Christmas Carol with Michael Caine on Christmas Eve is a tradition at just after dinner time, as we're starting to settle in to Christmas Eve evening. We watch a Muppets Christmas Carol, but I'd read the original, which I have to say the Muppets Christmas Carol is probably one of the closest depictions of the book that there is, except there are frogs in it and pigs. Anyway, Christmas Carol is a fabulous read in the run-up. I am going to recommend actually a book that I'm reading at the minute as well. There's usually 2 or 3 books on the go in this house that is completely not knitting related, and all of you, I'm sure, are totally aware of this book because the lady in question has been interviewed on some of the big chat shows, I think, in the States, and I have seen clips of those, and it's so exciting to see this lady talk about knitting. But I had read her first book, you'll probably know who it is now. I had read her first book and it was wonderful. It was the most inspirational book. I do like to have books by inspirational women on the go because it just gives you the drive to keep going. And this woman has to be top of the list. I'm reading this at the moment. Michelle Obama's new book, The Light We Carry. What a woman. And really, is there any more inspirational photograph than this one as a knitter? When people tell you that knitting is for old women, that it's dull, and I have this conversation quite regularly. I actually had it at the hair salon the other day when they heard that I knit and that I was telling them about Vlogmas. But that's, you know, my granny knit, and my, you know, it's never considered to be trendy. It's by those who don't knit. How can anyone say that knitting is not trendy and a fabulous obsession to have? And she talks about it as, and she actually, it's the first chapter, she refers to her knitting and she calls it the power of small. And oh yes, knitting has been the balm for many people when they're struggling with whatever struggles they have. For her, it was during COVID she began knitting again, and she realised that it helps her process many other things, as the, what is it they say, the, it's on my wall, oh that was Knit On With Confidence Through All Crises by Elizabeth Zimmerman, this picture here. But yeah, knitting is definitely balm for the soul, and to read this, about this inspirational, totally cool woman talk about her knitting is brilliant. So I cannot recommend this book highly enough. It is such a good read. So one non-knitting related book in there, or non-Christmas related book, but maybe it'll give you an inspiration to get relaxing and to switch off at some point over the Christmas period where you've some downtime.